Situated. You're here on WLRD with Solember and Coders 178. Today we're going to be talking about Psilocybin, bees, and maybe some other things. So
We'll see where it goes.
Venom energy drink here. Get my day started right. Not sponsored. Want to be sponsored. It's a good drink.
And I have coffee. No need for the sponsor. Just coffee.
Coffee. It makes the British hate you. While we do that, I had to wait to start it before I can get the chat viewer to go. So.
Oh yeah.
But that'll show up in a second to catch up when things start buzzing.
So the topic today, you may be asking how do these two things relate to each other?
Well, let's start with what is psilocybin. Actually, hold on.
Yes, that is true.
Let's start with the what is. I think chat's working. I'm going to test to make sure that it's okay. But yeah, we're gonna have some people probably jump in and join us. Oops. But yeah, my face got smooched. So yeah, we got chat working. Everything's going good. All right, we're good.
Yes, thanks. Everything's looking beautiful.
178. What is psilocybin?
Psilocybin is a tryptamine compound found in mostly fungi. It is found in some other things, I believe, but mainly fungi. There's some truffles. It's a psychedelic chemical. Very popular around the world. I'm sure many people have heard of the magic mushrooms. Profound effects. I think we have two people with different opinions on what psilocybin may be. So I think, why don't you get into the more scientific realm of it, and then we can get into my opinion of it.
Let's start with your opinion.
Oh, you think? Well, I think that I think psilocybin is a deeper chemical, more cosmic. You know, I think it can open your mind to deeper places. You know, unless you've experienced a high dose of psilocybin, I think it's hard to explain. But for people who know what it is, it's something that can only be experienced through that, I think, or death. I think that they're very similarly related in that aspect.
Okay, so my scientific feedback is just it's the psilocybin causes chemical reactions on your brain, which causes your neurotransmitters to go into overdrive, causes you to basically affect your chemical output, so your body starts to perceive things differently, changes your perception. I'm not saying that there is no mystical connection at all. I'm just saying it makes you more receptive to external stimulation, more receptive to abstract concepts. So
right.
That might be what you're talking about. But the strict nitty-gritty of it is that it makes you see things. It's a little bit stronger than biocystin or norbiocystin, so it's the go-to. Would have been some recent changes to psilocybin in the United States. Start small here.
Well, as of recently, it's been actually looked at with its medical, also not even cosmic or anything like that, but also what it can do for the neurons in the brain. For people with depression or PTSD, I'm not a scientist or anything, but from what I've read, it can help retrace or remap those places in your mind. So instead of like when you have a post-traumatic stress disorder breakout, and it'll help to I don't know exactly what it was, but to think of positive thoughts instead of the negative ones. It can almost overlay that in a way, and they found that one therapy session with psilocybin can be a lifetime of benefit, and that's one of the only times that they've seen something like that. So I think there's definitely something there. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of stuff that does that.
So you're saying there's something there that wasn't there before?
Not that it wasn't there before, but it wasn't looked at as closely as it is now, or taken as seriously as it is now.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how a good Beauty and Beast reference gets lost.
I didn't even notice. No.
No, I can definitely. I spent a lot of my childhood locked in a closet. I'm terrified of thunder, things like that. I can definitely understand the effects of psilocybin reducing symptoms that are or are similar to PTSD. But my question for you is, what about the people who experience more severe symptoms comparable to their PTSD when they're on psilocybin?
I think the setting is really important. I think there's a lot of people who are taking these things at like concerts or like in places where it's not meant to. I don't think it's meant to be taken like that. You know, people think it's a party drug, and I think when you're having your sense of reality shaken and you're in a public setting with people you don't know, it can really send you in, especially with loud music. You know what I mean? Like you can have a bad time, a really bad time if you're not comfortable with where you're at. I think it's really important to be somewhere where you know that you're safe, you know that there's people that care about you, you know, so that if something bad does happen, you know that you're okay at the end of the day. Because these drugs can't kill you. Like psilocybin can't kill you really in like a dosage way. You know what I mean? You can't take so much that it'll kill you. So you have to always remember that.
Well,
I think
anything
some people
can kill you. It's just
yeah.
It's just like you're not going to kill yourself drinking water, but you could.
Right.
Just so everyone out there, don't go out and indulge excessively. Because everything's dangerous. We have to make sure that we're
no way promoting to go and take mushrooms after this. Educate yourself on things before you do them is what I'm trying to say. These things are a lot stronger than people give them credit for.
I can dig it. So, what resources can someone use to learn more about psilocybin after watching this?
Well, there are some key people going around right now with psilocybin. A lot of people, you could look at Paul Stamets. I think he's one of the number one, not just psilocybin. He focuses on more fungi in general. He's done a lot of amazing things that it blew. That's what really got me interested in psilocybin fungi in general. I think it's one of the most amazing things. Who else? We got Jordan Peterson. I know he talks a lot about psilocybin in general. He said he talks about its healing benefits and what it can do. He also talks about the dangers of it as well. So I think once you start with I think Paul Stamets is your best bet to get introduced to the chemical in general and to learn about it, and then from there you can find a lot of people, a lot of references.
Well, I will elaborate and I'll point out some books. We have Psilocybin Mushrooms of the World by Paul Stamets. We have Growing Gourmet and Medicinal Mushrooms by Paul Stamets. One of the more recent ones, Mycelium Running. New Mushrooms Can Help Save the World. Paul Stamets. You're seeing the trend here.
Yes.
There's also fungi.com, which was founded by Paul Stamets in the 80s.
It's serious when you have the whole fungi website to yourself. You know, I think that says a lot about your, your trustworthiness in this topic.
Factual representation of representation. Not many people. So there are a lot of mycologists, but as far as per capita, it's not a booming industry for study. So a lot of respect to people who go there to and take these positions that other people might not think is important.
100%.
Mycoremediation is a very important aspect of mental health that's been neglected. are you familiar with mycoremediation?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Do you want to elaborate?
The root is there. Myco is to do with mushrooms, and remediation is to remediate.
Oh, okay.
But it's you can remove toxins from the environment with mushrooms. Mushrooms will pull pollution out. Let's say you have a spill of, let's say you're dyeing leather or something, and it spills and it pollutes and it really messes up an area. The mushrooms can pull that out of the environment. So that's a practical use for mushrooms, and then it creates a byproduct.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I actually remember reading about this. So continue. It just jogged something when you said that.
So there's a push for profit for it. So let's say we were going to apply for a government grant. We could do so on the grounds of mycoremediation to recover the environment while also providing valuable materials back to the government. That's how they get their cha-ching.
Okay.
That's probably our strongest leverage if we were to push for a more, I'm just going to say, mycelic generation. A fungal generation. We could be the fungal generation. We could all be fun guys.
I think that's the ultimate goal, man. I think that'd be great if more people could be educated on this. I think that's the thing. People are they think people still think that it's just like a fun thing, like a fun part. It is a fun thing. I mean, it can be, but I think if people educated more on what it could do for everything, like it could be something, man.
So now we have to look at the evolution. So that's our segue to the end half of the topic here. A lot of my resources come from livescience.com. If you ever wanted to fact check it, but my notes here that I put out were let's talk about the evolution of mushrooms and how they got here. You and I were speaking about this yesterday, horizontally transferred genes.
Mm-hmm.
So, how'd we get there today?
Well, mushrooms are actually how many million years old? Are we talking here? Is it 300? I believe it's something like that. 300 million years? 300 million years.
Okay, I would say that'd be cool. Like, hold on, let me just go evolve a little bit.
I'm gonna go even further beyond.
We have Miss Cassandra Jeffrey here saying that we are fun guys.
Very true.
I think she means we're dank.
Yeah, that is also true.
But no, by the way, I do encourage viewers to engage, ask questions. We will address your questions live if you catch the live stream. For those of you catching the podcast later, when I address a question, that's how I get the question from the audience. It's someone who's viewing and asking. Feel free to check us out. Right now, we're going to have a podcast at WLRD.sounder.fm, but we'll be putting that on to Spotify as well. So we'll make sure that you're available to get us when you need us. But yeah, shameful plug aside, let's get back into this.
Oh yeah. So old mushrooms, very very old. They've been here for longer than us. We're about 80%. They represent our DNA a lot. You know, we come from them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a part of us. You know, that's why. So you know more about the horizontal gene pattern. I just read about that recently. So I don't know if you want to explain that to people maybe a little bit.
Well, absolutely. I feel that that lateral and horizontal gene, so genetic modification, both horizontal and lateral gene transitions are important if you're going to talk about genetic modification. um, because you pass it down, and then you can merge concepts to make a healthier. It's my theory that you could add parts of a modification to members of a generation, and then they could pass it down. I think I just lost my connection. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you good?
Okay. Just that web page went down for a second. That was scary. Definitely don't want that to happen during a stream. I apologize. But
All good.
so but going on to mushrooms in general, we probably have the basics for how evolution works. There's a trait that persists because beings with that trait naturally survive longer. And if you survive, obviously you'll be passing on your genetics more readily. So, giraffe had the giraffes with the longer necks could reach the leaves, eat, not die, breed. And who doesn't want to have a long neck and breed?
Right.
Looking at you, Rihanna. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
First off, I think Rihanna's a lovely lady and stands for very strong. Stands as a very strong role model for young girls. Love you, Rihanna. You keep doing what you do. But back onto the subject, though. So the core concept of evolution is passing on traits that help you survive long enough to pass on the trait. So mushrooms, magic mushrooms, started developing this trait that would make bugs lose their appetites more readily. So they wouldn't be consumed wholly. And that is how psilocybin developed. Fun fact about psilocybin is it developed independently in different families of fungus. So there's just a fascinating fact that it developed independently. Not every magic mushroom is closely related.
Okay.
But yeah, it affects insects and humans.
Yes, that's the good transition into the bees, I guess. Because insects also have well, I don't know if all insects, but some have serotonin receptors, and the way that the tryptamine is entered into the brain is by replacing the serotonin receptors with tryptamine. So, Solember, do you want to get into that aspect of it?
As usual, you lead. I'll follow.
Well, I don't know exactly how to go about this. I think this is
Okay,
this is your. Yeah, I don't know how exactly to break it down because you kind of have been blowing my mind the last couple of days, kind of helping me realize things that I've only thought were a dream. You know, I think this is your time.
Cassandra, could you ask I don't understand your question. Not for regeneration. It's for. It affects insects for. It makes them feel more full, or maybe distracted to fly off and do other things, so they stop chomping down on the mushroom.
Is it an insect diet regimen? Question mark.
Well, the question was affects insects for regeneration.
Okay.
And that is an interesting concept. Could psilocybin stimulate regeneration of cells? But I'll get into that another time. Because serotonin affects metabolism and such. But
Interesting.
Over here, it's the neuropharmacological manipulation of. It's a study by the NCBL of restrained and free-flying honeybees. I would refer everyone to that by NCBI. It's a fascinating subject, but we do know that tryptamine affects bees, and that's just cool.
It's very cool.
So bees communicate physically and by dancing, and possibly even with some aspect of telekinetic manipulation. Not so much as ants, but they can communicate at range. The communication actually usually happens with pheromones. The process is trophallaxis, I believe. Sorry, it's come back from memory on this. I can't look up everything as I go. But since bees function with chemical communication, does that mean that bees could effectively, I guess, evolve to generate or simulate the effects of tryptamine within the colony? And that's sort of where I'm at with the study on bees. With that, there are studies going on with bees. Bees can create trippy honey, which I believe is up your alley, Coders.
That is very much. You can insert mushrooms into honey, and within 4 or 5 months, that honey will become very special. You can also have bees. It was a video I saw. I think it was even on Vice actually. But certain tribes have bees that pollinate. I don't know if they pollinate the psilocybin mushrooms or they do something, but the honey is psychoactive right from the hive. So those bees might have interesting stories to tell. I don't know about you, but I think that those bees are working on different levels of honey there. And I think from even experience, when you're talking synchronicity, I think is a lot of things that you notice when you trip with other people, right? You know what I mean? If you take mushrooms with people talk about having the same thoughts as people or seeing the same shared hallucinations.
I know where this is going.
I think if we trip with nature, people even talk about going out in nature when they trip and feeling connected to the earth. So old hunters used to share psilocybin with their dogs in hunts. So I think that psilocybin and bees and people can be very synergetic. I think more than just bees even, I think there's a very deep connection with all these things. What do you think in that regard, Solember?
I think that any two beings that function on thought in order to communicate, the closer you bring yourselves together, the easier it is to communicate and empathize. So, hypothetically speaking, taking a psychedelic mushroom, brings you to a state of mind. If there's another being that is taking a psychedelic mushroom and reaching that same state of mind, you're giving up a lot of you're not really giving up, you're ignoring many of your higher function aspect of your higher function to indulge. Meanwhile, let's say the bee or the dog, the hunter's dog, is experiencing a very similar aspect, perhaps even being raised to that higher aspect of function. I'm seeing rainbows, you're seeing rainbows, I want to be friends. It's
right.
It's
right.
Something part of that. So if there's
a synergy,
a synergy. You're both outside your head, but cool.
Right, in the same mind, almost.
Right. So
outside
there
of your
is
own
the
body.
aspect of possible, even of if you're anyone trying to. Let's just talk about voices here. First, I'll go into you've heard this before, but I'll go into the concept of viewers. The brain translates, right? Translates and transcribes. I can see, let's say I'm looking at a very simple image here. Let's say I'm looking at, you see the image of your face that I use for the stream, right?
Yep.
I could see that image. My brain sees it. It translates light that's bouncing off of my computer screen, right? Puts it into my brain and translates that image into electricity, right? My brain can then take that electricity, send it through my body, make my vocal cords vibrate, right? Sending out vibrations through the air that your ear, without looking at that picture, let's say someone else's ear, that Jonathan Johnson from Johnheimer, Johnsonville,
Yeah.
I'm telling him I can describe that picture to him.
Right.
With my voice, in various degrees. I could translate the entire image with my voice, right? And he would be able to see it in his brain, right? Good morning, viewer. We have someone else tuning in. I'll get back to I'll get to introductions in a moment. Be right with you. So he those vibrations vibrate in his ear, right? And then become an image in his brain, the same or a very similar image that I saw, but he has not. So I have now translated it from light to electricity to vibrations back to electricity. Let's say that he now wants to paint that picture or draw that picture. So now that brain is translating to moving the electricity, translating that into motion, right?
Okay.
And back to light. So the brain can translate things and see things. So we see things. If I see something, I'm getting the same electricity. Like if we're seeing the exact same thing and it's indisputable, not open to perception, not open to interpretation, we're getting the same electricity in our brains. How we translate that afterwards can vary and be different, but it's still the same initial source, right? So he puts that onto a painting, puts you onto a painting or a picture, right? Then the nukes it, but your picture survives. China takes a few steps on there. They're going through the rubble. They pick it up. Oh, look at this handsome boy. And now you have been translated to electricity yet again.
Okay.
And China thinks you're a handsome boy.
Oh, thanks, China. I appreciate it.
Coming over to chat now. I'm gonna take questions on this. I heard Cassandra Jeffrey. Hey, Cass. Insecurities, even being unsure of your environment, will make you more reliant on the next most clever being. I like the idea of hunters and their dogs becoming reliant on each other.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Sometimes taking the mushrooms is a sign of having to trust your companion, acknowledging that they have strengths that are more than yours, and realizing that you have to give up part of yourself to talk about it. Is Connor a friend of yours?
No, I don't know Connor. Connor just came in,
Go.
so nice to meet you. Yes, good afternoon to you.
Nice to meet you, Connor.
This is probably a weird conversation to just walk into halfway.
So we're talking about psilocybin, which is the psychoactive drug found in mushrooms. I believe psychoactive is the right word.
Yeah.
And then we transition to speaking about how bees can benefit from that. So basically where we are is bees harvesting honey and also perceiving, having shared perceptions, and how drugs can help people empathize with each other or even with beings that aren't as self-aware as humans, allegedly.
Possibly.
But yeah. If you have any questions about that, Connor, we can catch you up now. We're definitely...
You don't remember him?
I feel I do. I do apologize. I thought you were the guy who tuned in for the dance stream, but I also have severe brain damage, and I'm not good at names and faces. I do apologize. Like, I know the name's familiar. That's why I thought it was a friend of Coder's, because one time I tuned into one of his streams and started messing with the people he was... that was Rufus, wasn't it?
Yeah,
We
both of
tuned
you.
into Rufus' stream. But no, feel free to remind me. I will own that completely. But, I'm sorry, I'll just say I don't remember who you are. The name sounds familiar. I just don't know where I know it from, and I apologize. But welcome to the stream. So mushrooms can save a bee colony. That was my next point on that one. Right now, bees have colony collapse disorder, which might also be a social disorder, which is hilarious. That bees have society. Not hilarious. I think it's amusing. It's
interesting.
right. So we have viruses that are considered to be the primary driver, which some people believe. But there's also pollution and loss of places for healthy growth, and then, like I said, the illnesses.
Pesticides being sprayed on crops are also apparently really bad because they're getting a lot of those pesticides with bringing it back with the pollen, I guess.
But even herbicides killing off the plants.
Yep.
So it's like
the Duelist Kingdom.
Same bee, same. That's going to be on a T-shirt. I'm going to have like all the facts about bees above it. Like bees are dying off, and it might actually be a social disorder. And then just have like a picture of Cassandra. Same bees, same. Okay, I remember you now, Connor. Thank you for. I remember you. I'm glad that you joined in. Hope you've been doing
Indeed.
Well.
This is a lot different than Duelist Kingdom, but please bear with us.
Duelist Kingdom is a Minecraft server that plays Yu-Gi-Oh! So for those of you who are interested in that, look it up.
Indeed.
I love bees. All right. We all love bees.
Bees are the best. Yes, who doesn't love... yeah.
I'm allergic to bees, deathly allergic, but they're still, rad. Like, I'm not going to mess with them, they're not going to mess with me. They might build a nest over my door and come kill me, but that's on me, really. I'm the one with self-awareness.
Right now you are.
So we have, mycelium is fixing the issues. I might have mentioned the book earlier. Mycelium running How Mushrooms Can Help Save the World.
Yes. Who was that by again?
John Stamets. No, Frank Stamets. I'm so bad with the name because we were talking about him earlier and I was getting confused with Stamos. It's Frank Stamets, right? I'm now confused.
Paul Stamets.
My gosh, I'm just messing up. Paul Stamets. Please forgive me.
He did something big.
Yeah, he's believes that mushrooms can save bees and bees can save the world.
I think he's got a point. If you listen to him talk about it, I think he basically found a mushroom that bees used to use more frequently, but through how much deforestation and how everything is in the world now, it's lacking those. And he basically found a way to a way for bees to get this again, and he's found that it cures their colony collapse disorder, which is one of the biggest things.
Yeah,
a shrunken wing.
Go ahead, sorry.
There was also a shrunken wing thing, something where their wings weren't growing and developing properly, so they weren't able to fly and collect pollen right. So I guess this fungus, when they eat it, it's mixed with water. And they drink it, and it does the trick. It's amazing how it happened. I love
making me laugh.
Yeah, I know. I just looked over and see bee go burr. Oh, that's beautiful.
But no, Connor, it's actually an enlightening conversation because what the bees do, what they're doing is they're saving the bees. So it's a tincture of sugar, water, and just mushroom parts, and the bees are like, I feel better.
I like this.
And then, as you say, bee go burr. Now they all go burr with a smile.
Healthily, yes.
But so that's where we're at now. So bees being necessary for our survival and the planet's survival. And even the evolution of the planet mushrooms say is bees. So if we have, there are added effects of legalization of psilocybin. So if you legalize psilocybin, no, we're not getting stoned. But I was about to say that.
I mean,
sorry,
you may
I'm
not.
reporting to Cassandra Jeffrey again. Yeah, no. So if you legalize mushrooms for the practical benefits to health and psychology, and that means more people who grow them. Apiaries will then be more inclined to introduce such things into their colonies for their general health, which would save bees, make the hives healthier, and all in all, it would improve the quality of the world. More beautiful, lovely flowers come with bees, and that's good for all of our energy, I think.
It's good for everything. More fruit. People take for granted what bees do for us. You know, they think that everything can just be mass produced, but they're missing out. If the bees go, we go.
You're going out there, you're taking a walk, you don't notice the red dot you're showing up on the side of your head as you go grocery shopping, but that bee jumps out, takes that bullet for you. You don't know it's not going to happen, but there is a remarkably lower chance of that happening if the bees are dead. So, that's right. Mushrooms decrease your chances of getting hit by a sniper. It's a fact. It might not be yeah, there you go.
You heard it here first.
Bees will take that shot for you. Can't block a shot if you don't exist. That's all I'm saying.
It's very true. But yes, so I think that there should be some testing in the dosage of people and animals together. Bees and maybe dogs. But I think if there was a way to actually do that, they can't really do it, I guess, because it's illegal. But I think there's something to it for the synergetic purpose of learning about each. You know what I mean? Learning about something deeper, if there is something really there.
What else? How else could bees and humans benefit each other? That's another interesting concept. Like, not just growing flowers and stuff. How can we benefit the bees, and how can the bees benefit us? The bees could literally be used as a... Well, actually, I'll create a hypothetical scenario.
Okay.
Let's say you have these psychedelic bees. That's what I'm going to call them. These bees that are just constantly on the effects of mushroom, right?
The woke ones?
Yes. Let's say you're surrounded by bees that are like this, right? Mm-hmm. This is, again, hypothetical, completely unfounded. Could a large enough grouping of an insect actually influence an individual's mind? I'm not going to get too far into that one because it sounds like nut stuff, but
it does get into the more mystic end of mushrooms. But
yeah, the tin hat stuff.
Yes, it's a theory. Too. It's just this is a theory.
Yeah, so let's say that this theory that if we're surrounded, the good vibe theory is what I'm going to call it. And who represents vibe better than a bee? We just got asked a question. It was... Have you guys heard the Nature's Orchestra where a bunch of bugs are recorded and the sound is slowed? No, but I will definitely look into that. That sounds fabulous.
Should we make a bee album?
Just like bzz, bzz, bzz the whole time.
I'm gonna dose with the bees and we're gonna create a dope album. I'm gonna write what the bees say.
Dope album. Yeah, so music is nothing but good vibes, usually. I mean, there's some bad vibe music too. But you have to try to make bad vibe music. If you're trying to make good vibe music, then you're going to succeed.
Music's one of the most beautiful things ever. I think that it's deeper than just music, that's for the soul.
My girl was me cheating on me with another version of me.
That song will be for a different day.
That's another thing, folks. So we do have an album coming out with just songs that are based on concepts. So check that out. It'd probably just be called WLRD.
Try and stay on brand.
That's a beautiful thought too. Different size wings, sending a different vibe music message. Well, bees do communicate with dancing, so what's a more beautiful concept than that?
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, did my pun bug you?
I'm gonna need you to stop. Just a serious talk.
I'm gonna reach out to. So I'm definitely gonna reach out to Mr. Stemmons, Paul Stemmons, whose name I did not forget that time, I believe.
Stamets,
Paul
yeah.
Stamets. Not. You're gonna show up and John Stamos gonna be on the channel like, I don't know anything about bees, but I was Uncle Jesse, and my TV wife just got put in prison for cheating at college.
Yeah.
Mercy. Oh man, they should have brought him into court and like had like a character witness. Judge, have mercy.
Oh man. But yes, Paul Stamets, take us seriously and come on our show.
Oh yeah, well, I didn't read Paul Stamets and John Stamos at the same time. Like, in fact, I'll make a trivia, right? Like, who knows more about bees and mushrooms? And I would be so surprised if John Stamos wins.
Imagine if he did. He actually just is a buff on bees.
Yeah, he just like,
we didn't know.
Like he pulls out some glasses. Actually, Greek culture. I'm like, oh no, what have we done? I put money on this.
Oh my god, that's beautiful. But yeah, I think actually getting to talk to Paul about some of these more abstract things, see his opinion on that, I think would be very interesting, because he's also taken, he has stories of taking very high doses and curing his own stuttering problem, which I think is like, excuse me, when I first heard it I was like, what? But I mean, the way now that when they talk about it remapping neurons in the brain, so I think that has a very valid point. Like do you think that it should be used on people for curing their stuttering problem, or do you think that's too extreme? Or do you think if it can help, is it worth it for those people to do it? You know what I mean?
It's absolutely. If it's a question that's rational, it's worth exploring. If it's a question that's unknown, it's worth exploring. If it's a question that could destroy the world, ignore it. That's what humanity should learn. That's a good wrap up on this subject.
Yeah. Why
are we so focused on how to profit more on gasoline when we know that solar is the future and that gasoline kills bees? Emissions kill bees.
Money's the root of all evil. That's all you really got to say about that.
People aren't worried about it unless they're going to die in their own generation, unless the end of the world is their generation.
Yeah.
I got to get this rap out of my system. It's just itching on my head. I'm sorry. It's coming up on the album, folks. Learn something that set me free. How did John Stamos know so much about bees? There, I feel good. All right, it's good. It's gone. It's out. It's out.
It's in the world now. It's been out. Yes. That's hilarious.
It's been 20 years. John Stamos got older. I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Okay, stop.
Stopping on the fly. I like it. That's amazing.
She loves it. There we go.
There we go.
Then the chorus could just be buzz, 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 buzz. Like censoring some of the buzzes. Buzz, buzz, boop, buzz, buzz, boop, buzz.
Jesus, Chad.
Okay, I feel better now. I'm good. All right, I'm back on topic.
He's gotten it off his chest. But yes, where were we? Talking about psilocybin and
logical progression. We know the world's on fire. We know the solution. Why are we wasting so much time getting there?
Money, 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 money.
But let's look at the global perception. So look at how this works with bees. In the colony, the bees are influenced strongly by one. And that one has everything they need, right? So let's look at the human example here. Why are we all just okay with this because it's what we're used to? Like, why is being used to it enough? Like, it's to the point to where now, to disagree with it, you have to think that scientists have an agenda and are lying to you. Which,
I like where you're going with this.
What's that?
I still like where you're going.
That's it. Like,
yeah.
There's suspension of disbelief. You have to think that millions of successful, intelligent scientists are looking at data and going, you know what? I want to use this data to bring down big industry, and that's my only goal. I have nothing to gain from it. That's it. They're already employed. They're already making good money. Their only job is to educate, study, and learn.
Mm-hmm.
That's like going into, I don't know, an ice cream shop, right? The ice cream server guy scoops in your ice cream, and you just look at that cone and go, I don't trust this. What's
sure
your motivation? Well, you paid me for the ice cream, and I gave you ice cream. Throw it in the trash. I'm done. Gone. Ice cream is a scam.
I like that.
Like that's what it is, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Some people just don't want to believe the facts that are in front of their face.
And I get why they don't. I have to empathize with them. It's hard to accept things that you don't want to be true, or that are opposite of what you have believed your whole life. But at the same time, it's enriching. We need to save the bees because bees help us survive. We need to stop pollution because clean air helps us breathe.
Yes. We also need to learn to love each other.
Because love leads to unadulterated intimacy with an individual you met online, drove across the country, hooked up with, had a great night, found out she was a man, identifying as a man, but her personality, his personality, was so great that you changed your view, fell in love, started a family, told your family, who surprisingly were okay with it because they saw how in love you were.
Because everyone loved you and you're safe.
Seriously, joking aside, like, what could be a better representation of advancement of mankind and our collective knowledge than being good to the creatures that help us survive? And aside from the occasional sting, don't harm us at all.
Mm-hmm. Have no means to harm us. They don't.
It's just Winnie the Pooh out there walking around without pants, eating their honey, and we just laugh.
we just laugh.
What would you want the takeaway to be from this, Coders?
The takeaway is, the research for psilocybin has just started. Educate yourself now. Get ahead of the curve. Learn. You don't even have to do it. Just learn about what it is and what it can do. That's what I would say.
Do you think there's room for us to benefit the government's desire and need? I have to admit, it's a need for money, while also benefiting the research of psilocybin.
Yes, I think microdosing could be a new form of you don't need Adderall when you have just a tiny bit of psilocybin just to get your neurons going at the right amount without making you feel all woozy, or
No, I'm talking about benefiting the government. Like the
Oh, the
government's going to want
government.
money. The only thing that's ever going to get like weed. The obvious
Yeah,
reason
I think.
why the government keeps weed illegal is because it affects the lumber industry, it affects the tobacco industry, and that cuts into their check. So if they can't control it and tax it, they don't want us to have it.
That's what I'm saying with the microdosing. I think that's a good way for them to regulate, make money off of it, because it's such a simple thing. You know what I mean? Because then it's not getting people. But I think also the therapy. You could open, like, you know what I mean? Have therapists be able to use it, and that's money that they can get kicked back as well. I think that's
to a
its
degree, like
ultimate,
taxes and
its
stuff.
best way. Yeah, I think it's I think that's what it's one of its best forms is therapeutically, in a
Well,
setting with people who know who understand how to make the drug work. You know what I mean? Like get into the deeper parts and actually help you. You know what I mean?
well, there's also what we were talking about earlier, um, myco rejuvenation, mycoremediation, where it helps with pollution amazingly, but it also helps produce actual usable, profitable materials. Because mycoremediation can create lacase. The mushrooms themselves, it just pulls the minerals out, and then you could synthesize with the byproducts of the mushrooms, and so that could be a benefit as well.
Okay.
Creating a whole industry. So I just like to think of it as a thing that could be done en masse, and that being illegal takes away the chance to be profitable for the government. I don't want the government to have their hand in everything, but I know that they do, and they have the authorities and the
Yeah.
militaries and things like that. So
I think it's worth it to be able to get it into the hands of more people safely. I think that emphasis on safely, because it's not. I don't think it should be like there's like if you want to party, drink your alcohol or whatever. Like I don't condone drinking alcohol. Actually, I think it's a own problem in itself. You know what I mean?
but that's
Don't
taxable.
don't take mushrooms at parties, man. You know, learn about them. They're much more than that.
That's a very strong observation, Miss Jeffrey. Mushrooms are the first responders after a severe forest fire, and it's true.
Yeah,
It pulls
yeah.
the contaminants out from the aftermath. Not everything that's left in the environment is after a forest fire is great, but that breaks things down and creates fertile soil.
hmm How much? I believe it's really high, like upper 60, 70, 80% of the ground is mycelium, like the dirt, like in general everywhere. I believe that's something that Paul Stamets had observed. I don't
That
know if that was
depends on
him that
how much
observed it,
foliage
but
and overgrowth there is. In some
yeah,
areas, that's no longer true, but that's pretty strong. Like in a forested area, it could be that or more.
yeah. I don't know if that was him that observed it, but I remember him saying it at some point. But yeah, I just think that that's also something to note. That these they're everywhere. You know, like it's they have a purpose here, a very big purpose.
But so, do you have anything else to say before we wrap this up?
I think we got some pretty good stuff in here. You know, I think we did good.
So, I guess the next step is let's see if we can get Mr. Stamets, Paul Stamets, to come in and talk to us in a future blog. If you guys want to see that, let us know. But,
Yeah. Also, comment people that you know that may also have a lot of knowledge on the topic as well, who would also want to talk. You know, it's
absolutely, anyone
always
out there, if you feel like you want to get on here and get your message out, hit us up. We'll probably
sure.
come looking for you, but yeah, all the mycol I can't say it.
My
Mushroom,
mycologist.
yeah, mycologist. All the
Oh,
mushroom scientists and fungus specialists. Even if you don't come out here to talk to us, keep your message strong. You're important. You're valuable.
hmm
You're
You're
saving
doing
the
good
world.
work.
And
Mhm.
to the apiaries, bee holders, to all the bee holders, you hold true beauty in your hands. We need
You
you.
do. True beauty.
But yeah. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's WLRD. You can subscribe on YouTube. That's Warlord Adventures. Or just tune in wherever you're catching us at. We will see you on the next one. Look for our next broadcast, which will be this evening, Coders. Is that good?
Yeah, either that or tomorrow morning.
Yeah, within 24 hours. We'll let you up. We'll try to keep 1 or 2 a day. And aside from that, take care, stay strong, and have a good day.
Goodbye, people.